Hi, welcome. I was lately thinking about this buzz around gurus, and in my search, I found out that earlier, because humans doesn't have uh, had any resources to write down their knowledge or pass it down in that sense. So they used to do it orally, right? They used to tell the knowledge orally, giving birth to the parampara of Guru and Shishya. So, the person who is handing down the knowledge was the Guru, and the person who was taking the knowledge was the Shishya. And because in India, especially, right, in Vedic culture, the knowledge is of about Ved and Upanishads, right? Therefore, it kind of distorted into the concept that a guru can lead you to the path, right? Which, if we actually look into it, it's not. They were actually giving just the word system, right? And in terms of words, yes, if I'm someone who is giving the knowledge to other person, then I should really understand that thing, right? Mere words wouldn't do anything, right? I have to have that understanding, right? Which can see the mechanism. That is understanding. So that was the main part, that they might not be were really giving out the words, they were really giving the essence, maybe, right? But uh, s- uh, when spirituality is concerned, I don't think so that the gap, which is understanding, can be filled by anyone else. It just cannot, right? In fact, any understanding doesn't work like that. The person who has that knowledge can pass that down to us or whomsoever, but real understanding is always a part which needs to be fit by the person who was taking that knowledge, right? It is not the part which can be shared by anybody. You can share words, not understanding, right? It's something we, as person who's taking the knowledge, has to see the mechanism in the process, right? So that is what the case. And we kind of uh, uh, feel that early, preceding generation, that a guru can do something for you, but actually not. It was the guru was just the person who was giving out the knowledge, right? In terms of words. So even if we look at this thing in that sense, in this sense, then also actually a guru, is always the person's understanding itself, right? It cannot be the other person. So that was the case. And also there is another part to it, which is if you are familiar with Vyakran, which is actually one of the ang of Vedang. There are six Vedangs, which is, and Vyakran is one of them. So, of course, Vyakran starts with Varnmala, and Varnmala itself starts with Swar, right? And obviously, because actually every word, and from word, every story is actually basically starts from and is based on breath itself, right? And that's why you have swar, which is a, e, and u. So these are laghu, which is short breaths. Also, Hindi is the natural language, is for the fact that it is primarily based on your swar, right? It is designed the way that it stretches your breath actually. And not I am not sure about other languages, maybe they do. It's just Yeah, maybe they can, but I'm sure of Sanskrit, and they say that most of the languages are derived from Sanskrit itself. So yeah, so swar is there, right? E, u, which is short breaths, and then you have long breaths, which is stressed amount on the short breath itself, right? E, and U. There you have A, I. So these are also long breaths, right? The amount of stretch you put on the breath. So that is Dirgh Swar. Also, Dirgh Swar is also called as Guru, actually, right? And because inevitably, right, the person who really knows how to talk, who are good communicators, knows where to put the stretch on their words, right? Making it a guru for that reason, right? I understand that even people in India, if they find some person who really knows their thing, we have a word for them which is guru. Are guru ho aap to. So guru in the sense who really knows their thing, and from this breath scenario, and I think that was the only rational meaning to it, that guru is the stressed amount, is the way process where you know, they really know what they're doing and what they're saying, right? uh, so putting desired amount of breath, and that's how a guru can be, if we have to look at that way. So yeah, that was my understanding, and from my understanding I see that I have found out by my research all these things, right? And I know you things are, and we, just to address what we think of guru nowadays, is the person who initiates you on the path of spirituality. But again, as we saw, that is not the part actually, because earlier they used to hand down the knowledge orally, and the person who was doing that was the guru. So that's why we kind of misunderstood the concept, and yeah, and we are never like endlessly looking for gurus. So I don't know why, but yeah, it's okay. And you know, even a student who's in class, and they found out somehow that if they read the words, that will not lead them to anywhere, so they just see the whole summary and just understand the stuff, right? So that was their you know, part of understanding, right? So it's not a person out there. Actually, if you have to conclude this whole knowledge, then you will see that it's the understanding, and understanding is always heightened. It's never there, right? Understanding is something that you have the words, and then you can see the mechanism itself. So yeah, that was our take on gurus, and I hope you saw the value of it. And yeah, I was kind of shocked again. I hope you too are. And